Thank you all for coming this morning for this very exciting announcement. My name is Lindsay Jolie. I am the Manager of Communications and Community Relations at Boost, Child Abuse Prevention and Intervention. I'd now like to welcome Chief William Blair.
Minister, distinguished and honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good friends, we are gathered here today for what will be a very important announcement and truly a celebration after many years of hard work by so many people who are committed to the protection of the most vulnerable people in our society, our children and our youth. And in 2005, just to give you a bit of a background, in 2005, a committee was formed among all of those of us who have a strong interest in the protection of children in our society. And it included, along with the police, members of our children's aid societies, members of Boost, and a number of other organizations committed, including the SCAN unit, and committed to the protection of children and the provision of appropriate services. One of the things that we were attempting to address is the need that so many young people and families who have experienced violence, when they're accessing services, there were many fine, dedicated organizations throughout this city where they could go for services, but they had to go to many places. And we believed that by coming together, by working collaboratively together in partnership, we could make a difference. And so over the last several years, there's been a great deal of work done to strengthen that partnership between us. Today, we celebrate the announcement of an incredibly generous offer of support from our community partners, Suzanne and Edward Rogers, Lynn Factor, and Sheldon Inwintosh, who today have provided us with an incredible opportunity, to actually bring to life a center where we can provide services, one-stop shopping services, to children and families who are in need of those services. I also wanted to acknowledge our many partners. The Children's Aid Societies, Boost, and so many others in our community have worked collaboratively with us for many years, providing excellent services to the children of our city. This opportunity, under the leadership and stewardship of the executive of Boost, will provide us with an extraordinary opportunity to do a better job, to come together. Since April of 2011, we've been doing a pilot project out in Etobicoke, and we have proven the concept. This works. It's the right thing to do. And so I am confident through this investment that there will be an extraordinary return, that the people of Toronto will be better served, and that, most importantly, the children of Toronto will be better protected because we're going to work better together. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the men and women of the Toronto Police Service and also on the City of Toronto to thank our most generous benefactors for their incredible support. And I also want to acknowledge the Minister of Justice, who is here today lending his extraordinary support, and the work that he and his government are doing to help keep our communities safer is much appreciated. His support for this initiative so that we can be smart on crime and we can deal effectively with those who are victims of crime is very much appreciated, and I think it sends a very strong signal to all of us who are in the child protection business that we all work together, and together we're making an extraordinary difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Blair. I'd like to welcome to the podium the Honourable Rob Nicholson.
Well, thank you very much, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to be here to once again reiterate our government's commitment to supporting the needs of victims of crime. As Minister of Justice and Attorney General, I've met Canadians whose lives have been profoundly harmed and hurt by crime. It's an unfortunate truth that children far too often are the victims. They're especially vulnerable to the trauma of crime. For those who have suffered through abuse or witnessed a crime, navigating the justice system we know can be particularly difficult. But thankfully, we have organizations like Boost, Child Abuse Prevention and Intervention here in Toronto that have stepped in to provide the much-needed services to children and their families during this very difficult time in their lives. Boost is a unique organization that helps children and youth victims and young witnesses by providing counseling, legal assistance, child victim witness support programs, and a safe and comfortable atmosphere in which to meet law enforcement officers and Crown's attorneys. I'm pleased to announce today that our government will be providing Boost with new funding totaling more than $250,000 over the next 2 years to develop Toronto's first child and youth advocacy centre and to continue to ease the burden on young victims of crime. The child-friendly settings, services, and teams of professionals at child advocacy centres across this country help to minimize the trauma that children face in these situations. As a result, children are better able to provide the evidence and testimony which can lead to the proper enforcement of justice. In 2010, our government committed $5.25 million over 5 years to enhance the existing child advocacy centers and create new ones. I was very pleased and proud to be a part of that. I've been very grateful to my colleague, Mr. Flaherty, for including that in the budget. I think it was very important. These funds have gone to creating child advocacy centers and also to a number of programs and services that will enhance the existing child advocacy centers. So these centers are currently operating in Edmonton, Niagara, Montreal, Saskatoon, and Regina. And now with this funding, Boost Child Abuse and Prevention will be able to bring one to Toronto as well. Our government is fulfilling our commitment to give victims a stronger voice within the criminal justice system. And I'm proud that we've introduced several pieces of legislation to better protect the rights of victims and children and to make our communities safer. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is an idea whose time has come, and I congratulate all those who have worked so hard to make this a reality. Congratulations. These are all steps in the right direction because we're all in this together. Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite Edward Rogers.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and thank you for having my wife and I. We are honored to play a small role in making this occur. We're the proud parents of 3 kids, and we've been involved in many things to help our young kids in Toronto and across Canada. And of the things that we've been involved with, I'm absolutely thrilled about this one, and I know that it's going to be a fabulous use of funds and make a real difference. One of the things that we look at as a model is the partnership between government, police and law enforcement, and a group like Boost. It's difficult for any one group by themselves to really make a difference, and it's these partnerships that will make a difference, and we thank all that's involved. And I like to especially say to the federal government, because it's difficult, there's many great causes, and this will make a difference, so thank you very much. The other thing that many in this room will know, but I think Boost, one of the powers that it brings is the fabulous men and women that are part of Boost. And I've had the honor of meeting some, and my wife is has met many more. She's been in schools and learned about what Boost does. And the thing that has inspired her and me is just the passion that the people of Boost have. And this is going to be a fabulous thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edward. I'd like to invite up David Rivard, Executive Director at the Children's Aid Society of Toronto.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the 4 child welfare agencies that serve our city, namely Native Child and Family Services, Jewish Family and Child, Catholic Children's Aid Society, and the Children's Aid Society of Toronto, I want to thank the Rogers family, Lynn Factor and Sheldon Inwintosh, and the Federal Department of Justice for the generous funding of this important initiative. It is quite evident that the commitment to fund the Child and Youth Advocacy Center on the part of the above-mentioned parties clearly demonstrates the strong commitment to social justice and the overall well-being of children. The Child Advocacy Center is an innovative program And out of this partnership of collaboration, 10 organizations within our city will be focusing more on providing needed services to children. 10 organizations with one common goal: to provide a space where caring professionals can coordinate efforts at the point of crisis for child victims of abuse. As the only organizations legislated to protect children from abuse, the Children's Aid Societies have been at the forefront of advocating for what is best for children and youth for decades. And this center is really a positive advancement and development in creating a seamless, one-stop location for abused children and their families. Over the past year, the 4 Children's Aid Societies in Toronto have completed approximately 12,000 investigations into allegations of child abuse and neglect. On average, this equates to 32 per day, 365 days a year. Daily, our staff see the damage that child abuse can cause and know professionally that bringing together the expertise in one single location to heal our city's most vulnerable citizens is not only good for our clients, but ultimately helps to build a stronger and safer community. Unfortunately, few people believe that change in this world can occur. People make excuses. They're not able enough. They're not rich enough. They're not skilled enough, knowledgeable enough, or lucky enough to affect change. So they settle. They settle for being less powerful than they could be. It takes very special people to make the world a better place. People who affect change are inspired and inspire others to ensure that good intentions, theirs and others, turn into action. Every special person in this room and those who have diligently worked hard over a number of years of planning on committees and so on need to be congratulated for their efforts in helping to move the vision of a Child and Youth Advocacy Center closer to reality. So on behalf of the 4 Children's Aid Societies, certainly we want to thank our generous donors and the federal government, and obviously we would like to encourage the provincial government to also follow suit. So thank you.
Thank you, David. I'd like to invite up to the podium Lynn Factor.
Good morning, everyone. I am very pleased to be here with my husband, Sheldon Inwin-Tash, for the announcement to support the child and for the funding for the Child and Youth Advocacy Center, the very first one in Toronto. We're delighted to match the donation of $250,000 from the Rogers family and the support from the federal government to establish the center. Having worked in child welfare for many years and preparing children to testify in court for the past 20 years, I know how critical it is to support children throughout the disclosure process and help families navigate through the system, especially the criminal justice system. I know firsthand how difficult it is for children and their families to access all the services they need without going to a number of places and talking to a number of people. Bringing all these services together in one location will make it much easier for children and families to receive the support they need and recover from the trauma of abuse. Sheldon and I want to congratulate Boost and all of the CYAC partners for their hard work and dedication to the establishment of the center. We believe that the Child and Youth Advocacy Center will make a significant difference in improving the community response to child abuse and the lives of children and youth who are affected. We are excited to be part of this important initiative and glad to join Suzanne and Edward Rogers, as well as the Justice Minister and the federal government, in supporting the development of the very first Child and Youth Advocacy Center in the City of Toronto. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. I'd like to invite up Karen Kennedy, who's the Executive Director at Boost.
Good morning. I'm thrilled to be here today to acknowledge and celebrate the wonderful support for Toronto's first Child and Youth Advocacy Centre. For the past 6 years, the 4 Children's Aid Societies, Toronto Police Service, the SCAN program at Sick Kids Hospital, the Safety Program at Thistletown, the Gatehouse, the Victim Witness Assistance Program, and Boost Child Abuse Prevention and Intervention have worked together to develop the concept, the service model, and business plan for the centre that will effectively meet the needs of our community. We're committed to making this process less traumatic for children and youth and their families when abuse is reported. The Child and Youth Advocacy Centre will bring together all of the professionals and services in one location so that children and families don't have to go to multiple places and speak to multiple people to get the support that they need. When I reflect on the 25 years that I've worked in the field of child abuse, I can recall many children, youth, and their families who would have benefited from what a Child and Youth Advocacy Centre has to offer. Children who were interviewed in places that weren't child-friendly, and families who didn't know where to go for support or answers to the questions that they had. The Toronto Child and Youth Advocacy Centre will change all of that. No longer will children have to tell their story over and over. No longer will families experience confusion about where to go and how to get the help they need. Not only will the Toronto Child and Youth Advocacy Centre improve this very difficult experience for children, youth, and their families, but it will bring together professionals from every discipline to work together as a team that will learn from one another and build on that knowledge and expertise so that they can teach others. I have no doubt that the Toronto Child and Youth Advocacy Centre will soon become a reality. We're truly grateful to the Justice Minister for his vision and commitment to developing advocacy centres across Canada and deeply appreciate the funding that's been provided to us for the next 2 years. I want to thank Edward and Suzanne Rogers for their generous donation, and Lynn Factor and Sheldon Inwin-Tash for matching that donation. And I just want to take a minute to tell you that not only have they contributed the funds that we're so deeply grateful for, but Suzanne and Lynn have both given of themselves and of their time. Suzanne has been working in our prevention programs with children in the schools over this past fall. Lynn has worked with Boost for many years to prepare children for court, and these are truly 2 exceptional women. With the support of Suzanne, and Edward, Lynn and Sheldon, the federal government, and with the passion and dedication of the CYAC partners, we're closer than ever to implementing this important initiative. Over the next year, we'll continue to develop the model, seek capital funds, and evaluate the pilot that's currently being delivered in the West End of Toronto. Boost is honoured to have the opportunity to become the first Child and Youth Advocacy Centre in Toronto, and I look forward to seeing all of you again shortly when it's time to open the doors and significantly improve the experience of disclosing abuse and reducing trauma for children and youth in the City of Toronto. Thank you.